Hello and welcome everybody to the BAMS cast. 2 weeks left in the regular season, this week and next week, and then we hit the playoffs. It is quite a fun group we've got going on here. Usual suspects at the top: Hotspurs, Nog, Derek's rad team. Hotspurs get dealt their second loss on the year, and that's how good that team is that kind of doesn't matter. They are still way ahead in points scored and still one game ahead, the number 2 spot. And the Nog and Derek's rad team staying solid. Baloney Squeezes cannot lose a single game. They continue to rack them up. 8-4 for the Baloney Squeezes, while still scoring at the same levels that they've always done. It doesn't matter. They get W's. Then it gets very spicy of this edge of who is going to make that bottom list of the entries into the playoffs. 2 surgers in Diesel Guys and Puka-Boo, I love you. Diesel Guys almost out of it, come up with a huge win over the Hotspurs, stepping up when they needed it. They're in the 5 spot. And Puka-Boo, I love you, a team that I wrote off and said this team doesn't have a chance. They are in the 6th spot and looking pretty good. All other teams are irrelevant except for the remaining, being you, who things have been a little tough for. What do we got, Kamish?
No, I was hoping you would just talk for 45 minutes, and I would just listen, to be honest. It was tough to come down here to the commissioner cave. Turn on football. I don't want to see it. Last night, I didn't watch a second of it. It's been well over a month since I've won a fantasy football matchup. I looked back to that weekend. I was playing Geno Smith. I don't even remember him being on my team. That's how long it's been. I wanted to crack open a beer today. I didn't deserve it. I'm drinking a matcha and water right now.
No. That's like, I've had that in like in past gambling spurts. Gambling and drinking seem to go together, where I've just been like, I think the universe is telling me I need to hit the reset button. Like, you're doing a cleanse right now. This is when you've really reached desperation of let's straighten out this life. Let's get some matcha going and see if that makes any difference to these outcomes.
Yeah, I really hope so. It's been bad. You know what though, Tim? I haven't won in over a month and a half. Let me repeat that. And if I win this weekend, I'm still in the playoffs. I got good juju right now. It just flipped. I don't know if it was the matcha or whatnot. I'm channeling the 2015 Patriots. I'm on my 1 yard line. I lose this week, I'm done. I'm thinking about the lottery for the first time in my career.
Oh, baby.
Oh, I'm the 2015 Patriots on my own 1 yard line in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. It's time to pick off Puka-Boo. I can't wait to beat it. I'm ready to roll.
And I do think that, I mean, we'll go through matchups last week, but that running through where everyone is in the season is like the number 1 point. The number 2 point is you versus Puka-Boo this week is basically for everything. Like, again, I got my text going on, and there's maybe a little like Fiana being thrown out there. To me, I think Fiana's done. You're 5-7. He's 5-7. And then maybe Marianne's is 5-7. But that separation in points for you to those next two, a lot of things would have to happen in the next 2 weeks there. So it really is looking like this last spot is up for grabs for you and Puka to sort it out. And it is a loser leaves town match, I think, at that spot.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but next week is a Hail Mary if there's ever been one. If I don't win this week. And you know what? Like I said, I'm on my own 1 yard line. I was looking at some stuff today. Matthew Berry, he puts out his love-hate list every week.
Yep.
Puka-Boo's entire team is on his love list. I said that to him. I said, you better beat me this week because I'm coming for you. I love it.
And I do
Although,
love it that Yahoo projections have Pukabu at 103 and you at 102.77. So
mhm,
this is just everything we could ask for.
love it.
I think, yeah, and the only hope you would have otherwise is for Diesel guys to drop, but Diesel guys is that second half team we were talking about, and this team looks great. Bought Dak at the right time. Dak is the best he's ever been. Traded away Kareem Hunt to his brother to get Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Put up 15 last night. Diesel guys already putting 44 on the squeezes this week. So Diesel guys are really looking to solidify their spot. So once again, I think with that going on and Diesel guys, they are managing their dick off with the changes that they have made to this team. And Kyron Williams coming back, Justin Jefferson, the purchase of Dak. It is just, it's a lot of good work there. Maybe somehow Squeezes get a W there, but looking good for the Diesel guys and just putting more onus on this matchup for you and Puka.
I may sound bitter on this, but Squeeze is in unfamiliar territory with people putting points up against them. I don't know how are they going to react. I mean, they have.
And that's probably the only note that I have for myself on this or my team is the unlucky streak continues as I put up 128 last week after trading my 6 best players. And don't worry, I still found a way to lose.
Yeah, and I've actually jumped up in the unlucky. I'm right behind you now. Granted, 7 points, but it has just been a beat down of the commissioner here the last month. But that's okay. That's okay.
Well, you may not want to do it, but what do you say we get into matchups here?
Yeah. You got one on your mind? I'm looking at them, so I can roll whenever if you don't.
Go.
Okay, we're going Shasky and the tranny GBs. That is just that's a miserable matchup. Shasky won. This will be quick. Shasky won. TGBs, they're both miserable teams. Okay, Shasky got his first one in like 12 weeks, so he's riding high. What's good with him? Christian Watson finally getting points. Olave finally getting points. I think he's out this week with a potential what do you call those, concussions? But other than that, a James Cook game with a struggling Buffalo team. Singletary, that was his waiver wire pickup a couple weeks ago, still did good, but yeah, this is a quick one. TGBs has traded away. TGBs, Jacoby Myers, 17 points. That's another thing. I'm going back to this is a complaint corner of an episode. I could have won last week if I played the Miami D, if I played there's a running back on my team. Well, if I kept Jacoby Myers and just played him, like there was just
lots of outs.
Commission. Lots of outs. Anyway, Shasky won. TGB's lost. No one really cares about that. I'm glad I picked that one to get that out of the way. Well, what's next? What do you got?
To save you having to recap it, I'll rip the Band-Aid off of you losing to the Hammocks 124 to 104. The Hammocks, no transactions for this team, just riding out the squad that they have. And still finding some wins in within the group they fall of league standings, but you still have Mahomes, you still have Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks on Thanksgiving showing up, Tony Pollard, obviously been a long road for Pollard, but finally having a really big game there. So a lot of things happened. Of Marianne's having players that they've held on to that are still good and putting up points, putting you in a tough spot. 104, not a terrible performance, but it's a little lackluster. Devontae Smith for Philly, stepping up for you, Stephon Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is a good set of wide receivers.
Thank you.
But a couple questionable tags on Travis Etienne and Breece Hall. Breece Hall, things getting very, very grim in Jets land as Tim Boyle, Aaron Rodgers' friend, not good at quarterback, putting Breece Hall in a tough position. And then Justin Fields, waited for him to come back and still not very good.
Yeah, Minnesota has his number. They had his number. If you think back to it, he had those 2 good games against Denver, Washington, and Minnesota stifled him, and that's when he got injured. He was having a bad game before that, though. So that's on me. I shouldn't have played him. I may not play him again this year because this offense is just a wild card. And and you're probably just like, yep. You're.
I saw a figure.
Yep.
I saw a certain figure of what was going on that would have made the difference if you were perhaps wearing the hat that you were wearing when we chatted last week. Yeah.
Do
you want to say it or should I say
it? You traded me him. Go ahead.
All right, so Zintak traded for CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud put up 31 points. If Zintak played CJ Stroud instead of Justin Fields, who scored 10 points, that would have been the 21 points that he needed to win by 1 last week. I am sorry, I didn't even know that was part of the narrative. Well,
that's the thing, and being be a positive person, Ben, about this. It's if I just put that in and I put Miami's D in on a Jets team that's playing Tim Boyle, I'm competing for best week. So like, it's there, Tim. It's there.
You get the combinations right this week. You got your shot at Puka. So you're still there. You're still there.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. All right. To you.
That was brutal. Okay, I'm gonna go back. All right, Hardo. And I wouldn't have competed. I thought new old guy put up a lesser number than 150. So congrats to him. You went up. You had a great week. Goodness. You know what? I like that because I think you're playing Groli next week. Yeah, I looked ahead, and that gives me hope that
you're looking for me to be the mercenary.
Yes. Wait, let's see. Yeah, you play Groli at the last week, so I need that 126 out of you there. But we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We're looking at last week, and goodness, yeah, you had a good week, even though you were up against the wrong guy. Let's talk about the Nog. AJ Brown had another good day, and that stack is just going to be tough to beat until Hurts' knee finally gives out, which is what everyone in the playoffs, not named Nog, wants to see. Tyreek Hill is the MVP. We knew that. Drake London, a double-digit performance. That's a rarity, no? 11. Yeah, it's the first time since week 6.
He just got it from everywhere.
Yeah, he did. Ford's been consistently better than bad. We know what Gibbs has been. Hawkinson, goodness, yeah. Najee finally putting up numbers with that new offense, and then Dallas is a defense. So yeah, he's goodness. He is steady. Does he have a strong bench too in case people go down? Curtis Samuel, 15. Yeah,
it's receiving talent on his bench. I think the thin spot is running back for the Nog, where Jahmyr Gibbs, amazing for him to make that trade and scoop there from Puka, right? Or what? No, this was a trade to a trade. I think I can't friggin' remember.
I don't know.
But now,
wait, Gibbs?
Yeah, getting Gibbs.
Yeah, from Puka.
Yeah. So that's interesting. If Puka holds on to Gibbs, what's already a dangerous team gets even more dangerous. So giving up Gibbs, onto Nog really helped out because it's Jerome Ford. And then he does not have a running back on his bench. So it is literally, and Najee Harris, who had a good week, but it is more of a Jaylen Warren show. So, not the deepest running back room for Nog, but again, he just has so many studs. So it's just and he gets the $50 bill on the week, right? With the 150 performance.
Yes, he does, right after winning, what do you call it? Survivor. So he is quickly moving up the money standings, and yeah, he's right behind Spurs. Spurs at 250. He's at 150 right now. So I don't remember what we paid, but he's close to getting his money back if he already hasn't. And then your team is very Chiefs heavy, which is scary to say this year, but it worked out this week. And I just looked, you probably know already, but Rashid Rice is 14th round draft pick. Did you pick him up or did you pick him up off waivers?
Yeah, I know that because I did it 14th round pick and just held him all year because
Nice.
I watched him with my eyeballs in preseason and said, "Oh, this guy is good." Yeah, they just basically throw screens to him and get a cavalcade, and his acceleration is insane.
Hmm.
I think it's like he was like 51 percentile in the combine in the 40. So people were like, not the best 40 time. And then in every other explosive category was like 95th percentile. He is just crazy athletic and explosive. So I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I traded away like my 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th pick. So if I want to keep him, it'll be in the 10th round, but
Oh, okay. Still,
whatever.
that's a no-brainer.
But yeah, I continue to grind. The
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, they dropped Matt Canada. They instantly eclipse 400 yards of offense for the first time in 45 games, I think, under Matt Canada, and picking up Pat Fryermuth
Last week.
Yeah, but that I picked him up.
What number one? Yeah, waiver wire the pickup of the week.
Thank you.
I can't talk.
It made me only lose by 23 points against the Nog. So there we go. While we're talking about waiver wire pickups, Puka gets Zach Moss this week.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Brutal. And I mean, if you want to understand how there is not collusion in this league, I'm kind of out of the league, so I'm not as tuned into news. I felt like the Jonathan Taylor news was like Tuesday night. If there was any collusion, someone would have texted me to be like, make a move, Tim. Get this guy out of here so that a contender doesn't get him. No communications. I was completely unaware. So,
oh, God damn it. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered.
So Puka, I think they had the highest waiver priority. They go in, they get him. I think there was the Nog maybe was 8th priority. Diesel guy's 12th priority. No. Puka gets Zach Moss, which may sound like an underwhelming name, but as a guy who had Zach Moss for most of the year, dropped him because of his lack of keeper outlook for next year. He's really good.
Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Valid to bring up him, getting him. I think he had like 3rd or 4th waiver. And you not getting in the dynamic of that. And yeah. But selfishly, I'm playing him this week. And I'm at this point forced to play Tajay Spears in my flex because of this waiver. Yeah. And so it was a no-brainer that I put in a claim for Zach. And he was 1 ahead of me. I was number 5 waiver. He was 4 waiver. And no one else ahead of me put a waiver. So I would have had him, Grohl. And he only did it just to block me. He knew exactly what was going on. So kudos to him, but also just feels the fire for me.
And I quickly there is where we've talked a lot about like waiver wire pickups of the year. The ones that do jump out to me, it's Puka getting Puka. Yeah. And Puka getting Zach Moss. If Zach Moss did what he did earlier this year in the absence of Taylor, that could be a scary ad in the playoffs if you don't knock him off this week. We shall see. And then Diesel guys picking up Kyron Williams. Just funny that it's two Rams and Diesel guys and Puka, 2 of the most aggressive managers in the league who are both on the outskirts or just trying to get into those final spots of the playoffs. Yeah. They were the ones that grinded their way to it. So I love to see it.
Last on yours, I know we've been kind of bouncing around, but last on your matchup last week, you're doing everyone a favor, and I appreciate it by having Gabe Davis on your team. Because he's the most stressful play. And like, you're not stressing about wins that week after week, like people who are like, contending right now. And my goodness, is he a frustrating player?
Yeah. Before I traded away my 3 or 4 best receivers, like Gabe Davis is actually an awesome dude to have on your bench because he just gives you that volatility. But yeah, it's like it is 0 or 20 every week. So just happened to be a 19 spot for Gabe Dave last week.
All right, you're up. What are you looking at?
Let's go to this one's gonna hurt for the Fianna. As we said, it's like Fianna record wise, technically still has a chance for the playoffs, but this really does feel like the death nail delivered by the baloney squeezes 111 to 104. The squeezes they just grind you down and then just find a way to win by single digits on you each week. So the squeezes, their scoop of Justin Herbert from me has not been the best, particularly I think they had Dak Prescott, and because they filled that quarterback position with Herbert, they traded Dak Prescott to the Diesel guys. So not great at the quarterback position because Herbert has kind of cooled down in the second half of the year. Michael Pittman, though, was part of that package that I traded away, the Herbert Michael Pittman package, and Michael Pittman continues to deliver 17 there.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Taylor, before he goes down, 21 points for the week, but that is a tough hit for the squeezes. And then otherwise, it's, you get your double digits here and there, but nothing too much to write home about from the squeezes other than let's see how they bounce back or try to get themselves a win this week in the absence of Taylor. And then the Fianna, they did what they could. Garrett Wilson in some garbage time. Tank Dell, good. Derrick Henry couldn't find a home in the trade market. 21 points there. Sam Laporta is going to be one of the best keepers next year. I think he's like a 13th or 14th round draft choice. Shit. Was that a baloney squeezes trade too? I think it was.
Traded from Baloney to Fianna, drafted in the 14th round.
So that
9th pick. Yeah.
That's a really good keeper, 16 points for Laporta. So Fianna, I think, is set up well for next year. They've got really good keeper options, but that could be it on the season for the Fianna. And there you go. 111, 104, baloney squeezes, roll.
Derrick Henry, what does your gut tell you on how many games he plays every season? Like, do you think he's
next season, how many games does he play?
No, just in the past 10 years. Like, what do you think? Like, if you went back the last 8 years, how many games he plays each year? Like,
I feel like he plays a lot of games. He feels old and fragile, but he's not. Like, I would say he plays 13 games a year.
Okay. Last year was 16. The year before that was 8. That was his bad year. Then before that, 16, 15, 16, 16, 15. He doesn't get hurt.
No.
I was sitting here with
He's a tank.
on my he had that one bad injury that just rose me a few years ago. But anyway, that popped in my head and I thought I'd do some BAMalytics. Another BAMalytics before we move on. 93 is the number. That is the amount of points that is being scored against baloney squeeze on a weekly basis.
Oh, come on. Any chance you could do quick math of what mine is?
Yeah, absolutely. 1447. So that's 121. Okay. That's a good score. That's a good weekly score. Anyway, let's go into the Spurs' second loss of the season. We didn't talk about this yet in detail.
No.
These guys.
What a clutch game for Diesel at the right time.
Huge. Yeah, I just dropped something. It'll be exciting to see what he does. Jamar Chase is like the lone question mark on his team right now with the quarterback situation. But Ridley I think that's the second consecutive week. They're turning the corner.
Yeah, Peterson, Doug Peterson took back play calling duties, and it seems like a lot like there were complaints of the previous OC play calling that it was like, or I guess current OC, but previously having the play calling duties that like Calvin Ridley plays were being drawn up with Christian Kirk. Like people are like,
Mhm.
what is happening right now? And so
Yeah.
I think Doug taking back the play calling, he's drawing up a lot more for Calvin. So we're seeing that push. 10-minute warning, 10-minute warning.
Start that up. That sucks for me because I have ETN, and I'm pretty sure that ever since he's taken over, ETN has disappeared. So anyway, this isn't about me. I don't like to make things about me. Waddle's a wild card. I would put him in that category. As far as points, he had a good day. First one in a few weeks.
Interesting there
Nice
too
matchup
is
in the
like
next few weeks.
the Waddle success is pretty really closely tied to Tyreek, where like that entire offense is Tyreek centric, and then it's like Tyreek will like tweak a hammy or something and like come out and get worked out on the sidelines, and while that happens, Waddle has like 5 catches for 70 yards. Like it is just this whoever we want to highlight in this role is going to get fed. So some of this Waddle production more recently has been like Tyreek goes out for a couple series and Waddle's just getting fed in the Tyreek role. So frustrating frustrating to be a Waddle owner this year.
Kyron Williams, we talked about that. That's a pickup. If he picked him up, I don't know if he just kept him, but I'll be curious
That
to
he
see what
kept
does
him the
here
whole
coming up.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah, waiver wire pickup.
Yeah. Next 2 weeks we'll form an opinion. He's got Cleveland and Baltimore, and he was kind of like a Gabe Davis as player early on. His points from in the beginning were 26-7, 26-7, 21. So we'll see what that happens. But 36 points, my goodness, against the Cardinals. Huge game from him. That contributed to the win. And then aside from that, you got Josh Jacobs, who's turned into a very consistent player, kind of for the most part. And then Ford. What fell for Ford? Tua, Metcalf. That'll be a different tune next week's recap.
I just realized I outscored Ford in this week.
Did you?
I mean, lose another fucking game. Well, it's not about me. It's not about me. But
no, it's not.
Yeah, Hotspurs. I mean, to against the Jets, not a lot needed there. That was part of the game. Was just the Hail Mary pick 6 for the Jets. It was just a ugly game where they didn't need to. So only 10 points there.
I mean, we're trying to find bad stuff on Ford's team when he had 125. He had a good day. It's just Diesel guys. Diesel, he didn't lose the game. Diesel guys beat him. Most are in his flex are 21. Yeah, no, they're a fine team. They'll be good moving forward. So, all right, what's next? I think we have like one more.
Yeah, someone's screaming of talk about my team. Hold on.
I got you.
Oh,
I think we Derek and Puka.
Yeah, there we go. Puka wins 139-113. Derek's rad team, the way they score is it's like I feel like they're like an upgraded version of baloney squeezes where they just score a certain amount and typically have the scores work out in a way where they win by single digits and like they just keep racking up wins. Puka, as we talk about Diesel showing up at the right time, Puka shows up at the right time. They had their season on the line. So this was especially going up against a top 3 team in Derek's rad team. This was, that's why I thought there was no way that there was going to be. I'd slightly written off Diesel guys, definitely wrote off Puka, and it is because Puka was going up against Derek's rad team. Diesel guys is going up against Tottenham, and both of those teams come out with wins. So Puka 139, huge. Trevor Lawrence, Jags, as we're talking about, like that offense is definitely coming back, taking shape. Deebo Samuel, when healthy, is gonna get you 15 to 20 a week. No exceptions there. Nico Collins, which was traded from you, 20 points there.
I traded him for.
Oh, right. You got
Devontae Smith and Deontay Johnson, but Devontae Smith had 20 points last week, so still won that trade a little bit. No, I didn't win the trade. I gave away a 4th, but between those 2 players, I got an extra half point, which helped me out.
And then with with Puka and their final. I think what was the last trade of the season was getting Bijan on their squad, paying off 26 there.
He's gonna have a great finish to the year.
So it is a good team, and I want to go shout out Rashad White. Like, these are my types of guys that no one on the planet would want to trade for Rashad White because it's just like deflating, doesn't have any name recognition. He's just scoring like 15 points a week for the last like 6 weeks. He's good.
He's the number 8 running back on the season.
And he might not be the most talented. It's just like he's on a team where he's just getting the ball a million times. So this is like Puka's doing classic Puka stuff, which is like capitalizing on names that don't jump off the sheet but get production. So great work by Diesel guys and Puka to stay in the mix and actually are now on the inside looking out, barring a commish flip of Puka's fortunes this week.
Yeah. Where did he end up after the trades? Yeah, he's set up behind you and the TGBs. He's set up well for the draft next year and trying to make the playoffs, which we talked about it before. It's not the first time he's done that, but
Puka set up well next year. It felt like he sold, but he's worked his way back.
He did. He picked up.
Sorry, felt like he bought back a little bit.
Yeah, he got himself a 4th and a 3rd.
Dang, great work.
Yeah. On the other side of that, I'm at the bottom of being set up for next year, and I might not make the playoffs. Okay. Anyway, we got 3 minutes. We talked about the waivers. You won. Congratulations. I forgot who it was. Who was it? Remind the folks.
Fryermuth, huge. Should we talk about who's going to die this week? It's been a while. I feel like
didn't
prep, but you get us started here.
Yeah. So what we're going to do? We're going to go to the top half of the standings. We're going to pick a team. We're going to go wide receivers first, and it is going to be. Yeah, I've heard some positive talk about this guy. He's had a bad couple weeks, but people are like, he's going to rebound. They're going to turn it around with changing coaches, and it's going to be Adam Thielen who will catch up with Father Time this week.
Yeah, and there's no shame in the game of trying to dead a guy many times within a season. You got play the percentages, and I'm going to stick with that of a guy's name I've said several times, and it's probably because he was one of my amazing draft choices last year that didn't pan out. Keenan Allen, just old and being targeted 19 times a game. He just has to die. So there we go.
Isn't he already a little banged up?
Shit. I don't know.
No, that's good. That's a smart play. He's playing, so it's a smart play.
It's the hobbled gazelle.
You know what? You gave him too much positive credit. We're on running backs, and we'll just go Ronnie White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just because Puka needs a wake up call. Who do they got this week? They have all the Panthers. That means nothing. Yeah, he's still going to get hurt.
A gross game, like no one even hears about it. Like
right.
It's like afterthought. You see a tweet the next day, like, I'll go Raheem Mostert. Again, I just keep betting on these 30-plus-year-olds who are getting tons of work.
Playing with house money per se. Yeah, I agree. I don't want him to get hurt because then I don't want to give it away. Let's see, quarterbacks. Ooh, let's see this. Oh, you know what?
1 minute.
Speaking of house money, Tua. We've targeted him before, but Tua
so many times.
He's just Let's go concussion. That's the flavor of the guy. Go ahead.
And actually, I'm dipping back into the same well too, and I'm doing it to myself. Sam, he's just been sacked so many times. Let's go with him again. I think it's because I haven't deaded a single guy this season that I'm trying to really play percentages and just get one.
Can it be on an interception?
15
where
seconds.
He gets hit? 25.
Okay, good. Go. Can it be on
Sam Howell? Interception, hit, dead.
Yeah. Or not head not on a swivel as he's working to make a tackle. I like that. All right.
12 seconds. Say something.
Thank you, everybody. We love you. Have yourself a great football Sunday.
Yeah, and just me, I know I've been